class, but the survey kind of like let me pause for a sec and think about, okay, more purposefully, I'm excited to see what my students are going to share and then how I'm going to be able to shape my classroom because of their feedback. The second way that this has helped is the video that we saw, was it last week or last time?
Yeah.
And how we had that conversation about just why education is important and what it is that we need to do as teachers, as the stewards of education. And that's got me like reflecting a little bit more about my role in the classroom and like why it's so important that I teach what I teach and what skills I actually need to be instilling in my students.
What do you teach?
Economics.
Okay.
Just go in a circle.
We'll take the mystery out of it. We'll just go in a circle.
So that way.
Handle your counsel.
A while ago, I actually gave out a survey before we started talking about the surveys. And like Max, I was interested in seeing like the feedback I would give from my students and what I would do after that. And I was surprised because a lot of my students, I did it with one class because I just thought they didn't really care about me as a teacher. And actually, a lot of them like did kind of care and like wanted to perform better for me in class, but they knew like it was a question of like, what do you think is stopping you from performing better in my class? And like, oh, my behavior, I talk too much. I'm like, oh my God, if you know this, why don't you just shut up? But, so we had that conversation, and in a sense, it's kind of changed a little bit, but it's still a work in progress. And then again, picking back off Max, watching the video, I was starting to think like, am I pushing college down the throats of all of my children when I know that that may not be something that they're thinking about, and it may not be realistic for them right now, and what other alternatives can we go, what can I push for post-high school?
I'll share mine. I'm probably just going to read it, though, because I think that I'm express myself best in writing. I've identified that what I value most in terms of the purposes of education is personal. I made assumptions that for my students the most relevant purpose was economic. This has, in addition to other experiences, led me to think about the detriment of my assuming or conveying that I had the answers. I wish I had taken time to listen to my students more, and I hope to move forward with a focus on listening and facilitating rather than knowing and fixing.
That is a lot like what I was going to say. Really. No, because I have had a really fun time kind of reintroducing my vision and my class values and stuff, and having a conversation with my students rather than saying, this is the vision, these are the values, but like just talking with them about what it means to them and how we can, I don't know, best engage with these things. And so one of my class values is curiosity, and they were like asking me, like, we're learning chemistry, but what's like a fun way we can be curious about things? Like I kind of just expected them to be curious, but so I've been exposing them to stuff to get them thinking. And so after reintroducing the vision, I've been really pushing this curiosity thing. So we've been watching a lot of stuff about like applied chemistry, like really weird stuff even. Like this new, this engineer out of Atlanta who went to LA came up with this thing called Soylent, where he's trying to replace all food essentially. And it's like a mass, it's like a, right? It's like a mass, it's a brilliant thing actually. He's not trying to replace food, but it's a way of providing for people who are going hungry. And it's a really efficient, like it's an engineer's thinking essentially. It's a really efficient way of providing for people. And so I've also reached out to a lab at Georgia Tech. We're going to try doing some applied chemistry there. Maybe doing a field trip, maybe having a professor come visit us. But lots of just fun like playing around with chemistry more than just learning the material.